and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Mm. So this verse is very clearly saying that Krishna speaking, and he's saying that he's God. Because this is one of the definitions of God. God is that person that is the source of everything. So everything comes from God. That is what God is. God is that person from which everything else comes. God is the source of everything. The essence of the Vedas is called the Vedanta Sutra. And the first verse of the Vedanta Sutra is Janmadya Asya Yataha, means that from which everything comes. So that's God. God is that person from which everything comes. And Krishna is clearly saying here in this verse that he is that person from which everything comes. He said, I am the source of everything in the spiritual and the material worlds. Everything emanates from me. So everything comes from me, like that. And those people that know this, those people that have this knowledge that Krishna is God, the source of everything, everything comes from Krishna, those people that know this, what will be the result of knowing this? Naturally, they're going to engage in devotional service and worship me with all their hearts, like that. So this is actually what it means to have full knowledge. Full knowledge is explained in the Vedas to know who God is and who you are and what your relationship is with God. This is real knowledge, not just knowing BSc, MBA, PhD, and all this stuff. That's not what real knowledge is. Real knowledge is to know who God is, who we are, the soul, and our relationship between the soul and God. So that's God is Bhagavan, and the devotee is Bhakta, and the process of a loving relationship between Bhakta and Bhagavan is called Bhakti. So you got Bhagavan, Bhakta, and Bhakti. Yeah, the three B's. So that's if we know those things, that I am a devotee of God, and my function, my purpose, actually what it's called is dharma, my natural characteristic or my duty of the Atma, the Bhakta, is to render loving service to God, Bhakti. So that's our real function. That's our function. So dharma, very important word, very interesting word, means the natural characteristic. So once we have knowledge about who we are, we will then know that our natural function is to give service to God. That's what we are made to do. Like the tire on a car has a purpose. The steering wheel on a car has a purpose. The knife in the kitchen has a purpose. The chopping board has a purpose. The table has a purpose to keep things off the floor. The chair has a purpose to put your bum on. So everything has a purpose like that. So the phone is to communicate and so forth. So everything has a dharma. So what's the dharma of the soul is to render service, bhakti. That's the dharma of the soul, like that. But this knowledge is so essential. And we see in the material world that most people don't know who God is. They don't know who they are, and they don't know what they should do. If you don't know who you are, you're not going to know what to do. So the first thing is to know who you are, and we call that self-realization. Like the Prabhupada has given one book, The Science of Self-Realization. So we need to know the science means the truth. We need to know the truth of self-realization to realize that myself is an eternal soul and that the purpose of the eternal soul is to render loving service to God. Some people have partial self-realization, which means they have some understanding, aham brahmasmi, that I am spirit. Brahman means spirit. So they have a partial understanding that aham brahmasmi, I am a spiritual being, I'm not the body. So they know I'm not the body, I'm a spirit soul. But they don't know clearly what the soul does. They don't know what the activity of the soul is. In fact, a lot of them, they have an idea of completely stopping all activities. But this is where their knowledge is lacking. If they had the real knowledge, they would know Aham Brahmasmi, that's perfect. And what does the Brahman do? Renders service to the Parabrahman. So that's another name of Krishna, you could say a title, is the Parabrahman, which means the supreme spirit. So we are Brahman, a spirit soul, but Krishna is the supreme spirit soul, Parabrahman. So that's we're differentiating between the small soul and the big soul. And another coming up, just in a few verses, we can quickly look at that. So if you skip forward to text 12 and 13 are joined together. 12 and 13 are put together. And this is after hearing from Krishna for these 4 verses, or the seed verses. This is Arjuna's realization of who Krishna is. So do you want to read that translation? Your voice speaker's on mute. Deepa, your speaker's on mute. Your speaker's on mute.
It is.
Now it's good. Now it's good.
My
But
mic.
you read it anyway. So particularly, thank you.
Yes.
You read it? Yep. Particularly what I wanted to point out from this verse is the word vibhu. So the word vibhu is there. Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. So Vibhum, and the word for word, means the greatest. So yeah, Krishna is the Para Brahman, means the Para means the greatest, the highest. So he is Vibhum, he's the greatest. So we are not the greatest, we're the smallest. So we're very small, and Krishna is the greatest. So we're both souls. I'm an eternal soul, and Krishna's eternal soul. The difference is so that we're the same in that way, that we're both eternal spiritual beings. But the difference is in the quantity. So qualitatively, we're the same as God, but quantitatively different. We are very tiny. We're called Anu. We're called Anu, which is like atom. We're like atomic in size, Anu, and Krishna is the opposite. He's Vibhum. Vibhum means he's the greatest. So another way of saying that is Parabrahman. He's the topmost soul. He's the topmost soul, Parabrahman. And in Krishna and Arjuna is saying that here. Arjuna Uvacha, Param Brahma. There you have it. So Param means supreme and Brahma means truth. It also means, like I said, soul. So soul, truth, yeah, same thing. So he's the supreme, topmost Brahma. So we are Brahma. We're also truth. We're also a soul eternally. But he is the Parabrahma. So there's only one Parabrahma and there's unlimited Brahma. So there's unlimited Brahma. You are a Brahma. I am Brahma. Giant is Brahma. Bhaktimal is Brahma. The worm is Brahma. The cockroach is Brahma. There's a tiny soul within everything, the tree and everything. We're all Brahma, but there's only one. So there's unlimited Brahma, but only one Parabrahma, and that's Krishna. He is Vibhu. He is the greatest. So this is Arjuna's realization after hearing from Krishna that you are the supreme soul. You are the greatest, like that, transcendental, so forth. Pavitra means pure. You are the supreme pure. Pavitra means pure or clean, and paramam, same word. Paramam means supreme, like that. Purusham, person. Krishna's God is a person. See, a lot of people think God is just energy, but no. Here, Arjuna's realization, and he's, like you said, seeing is believing. Arjuna is seeing God with his eyes. He can see Krishna, not just theoretical. He's seeing Krishna eye to eye because he's a pure devotee. Krishna has revealed himself. And his realization is Purusha. God is not just the energy, he's a person, Purusha, but Shashvata, he's an eternal person, Divyam, transcendental, Adidevam, the origin of all the demigods, Ajam, unborn. So these are all the, special qualities and opulences of God, of Krishna. And that's what this chapter is, the opulence of the absolute. So these are all his opulences, that Krishna is a supreme being. He is the most purest person, transcendental, eternal, origin of the demigods, unborn, the greatest, like that. And then the next two lines say that, some people might say, well, Krishna's saying he's God. Well, anyone can say I'm God, so you're going to believe them. So Krishna's saying he's God. Then Arjuna is saying that he's God. But not only Krishna is saying, Arjuna is saying, but then look here, all the great sages, all the great sages. So these are all the most intelligent people in the universe. Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, and so many on and on and on. Lord Shiva is saying, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nambakacharya, they're all Brahma, like I said, the 12 Mahajans, they're all saying, so all the great personalities of the Mahajans, they all say that same thing, that Krishna's God. So there's so much evidence. So it's not just a few people just speculating or whatever like that. This is the, solid evidence here. There's solid evidence. Not only is Krishna saying that he's God, but, all these great sages, the demigods are saying, everyone's saying like that. So there's a lot of evidence here that Krishna is the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality, the source of everything. Mm. Do you want to say anything about that, Deba?
Oh, not particularly. I mean, just absorbing. Trying.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, that's the process, hearing and chanting. So yeah, Krishna in this text 8 is declaring that he's God, the source of the spiritual materials. Everything emanates from me. And people that have that knowledge, they're going to engage in devotional service. And how will they be engaging in devotional service? This is very important, the last two words. Bhava
All their hearts.
Samanvata. Bhava means, in your heart, from the heart, not just mechanically serving, but with love, serving with love. And that's what bhakti really means. Bhakti means service, but with love, so this is the bhav, once we come to the realization that Krishna is the source of everything, if that sinks into the heart, that Krishna is everything, there's nothing other than Krishna. And he's like my mother, he's my father, he's my best friend, he's my maintainer, he's my protector, he's my guardian, he's the creator of everything, the destroyer of everything, the maintainer of everything. All these things together, once the devotee realizes all these things, then he just completely surrenders his body, mind, words, heart, wealth, everything for Krishna's service like that. So not just external mechanical. I mean, you have a lot of religions around the world, which is, people serving God, but often it's not from the heart, it's mechanical. On Sunday I go to the church, on Sunday I go to the temple, I go to the mosque or whatever like that, and I offer some prayers, or I put some money in the box and blah blah blah. Often we see it's just like ritualistic activities, mechanical activities, whether one is Christian, Hindu, or Muslim or whatever. I mean, there are some within every religion which is from the heart also. But what I would say the difference is, what takes it, even in the Hare Krishna movement, there will be mechanical also. Well, what I will say will take it from the mechanical stage of relationship with God to the loving stage from the heart is this knowledge. We need more knowledge. And when that, we see you have the phrase penny drops. Then when the penny drops, how God is so fundamental to our life. Even like Arjuna's realization in that text 12:13, one thing he says is param dharma. Param dharma means he's the supreme shelter. He's, we're all looking for shelter. And because we haven't found that shelter, we're afraid. People are in anxiety, they're fearful. But once we realize that God is the ultimate shelter, then that brings about real peace and tranquility. And nothing can phase the devotee once we realize that. There's some beautiful a verse, one of our favorite verses. This is a friend of mine. He's passed away now, but this was his favorite string of verses. And he was telling me about these verses. It's 6th chapter, text 23, 20 to 23. There's a string of 3.5 verses together. So 6th chapter, text 20 to 23. Beautiful verses. And when this devotee, his name is Nrsimha Prasad, and when he was going over these verses and he was really describing them from his heart, then it sort of went into my heart too, and I realized, wow, yeah, this is amazing. Do you want to read the translation for this?
In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one from material
Your mic's gone off, Deepa.
again.
Yeah, now it's back. Now it's off. It's off again. Now it's on.
Yeah. It has a mind
That's
of its
okay.
own. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
Isn't that amazing? This is the perfection of life. Not to be shaken, even the greatest difficulty, and freedom from all the miseries, and feeling always unlimited transcendental happiness through transcendental senses, never departing from the truth, never feeling there's anything more than this. This is the topmost. There's nothing that compares to this relationship with the Supreme, this perfection. And this is the samadhi stage. So completely the mind is absorbed completely in that loving relationship. Well, like Radharani, she never for a split second thinks of anyone other than Krishna. Her mind is always thinking about Krishna. Or Mother Yashoda, or Arjuna, all these pure devotees, their mind is so absorbed in thinking about Krishna. And they're always in ecstasy and bliss, and they're not affected by, even though they externally go so many miseries there, but they're not affected by the miseries at all. They're completely free from all these external things, just being absorbed in their loving relationship with the Supreme.
It's a very different paradigm.
Yeah.
Because, see, for example, Arjuna was shooting the arrow into the eye of a fish. Okay, so he's looking at a reflection and he has to shoot that arrow into the eye of a fish. Now, which is running on a wheel. Okay, so now, at that time, is he really thinking of Krishna? or is he focused on hitting the fish's eye? Okay. So I mean, he might be thinking of Krishna, I don't know. But I'm just thinking out loud that like in this day and age, for instance, okay, I could be thinking, okay, from now on, looking at this, I'm going to force myself. Which itself defeats the purpose, because you can't force yourself. This has to happen naturally. Um, that's the perfection of yoga, where it happens naturally that you're in samadhi. Okay. Whereas, okay, so now I'm thinking, okay, I have to think of Krishna every time, and I really want to think of Krishna. So I start thinking of Krishna only. Okay. But in that case, I could be actually neglecting everything, thinking that I'm thinking of Krishna. I'm in Krishna's thoughts all the time, and I'll just do whatever is required like that. But I could be actually missing out on some. I mean, ultimately, nothing is important really, because at the time of death, you have to be thinking of Krishna so that you can leave the material world. Okay. But in the material world, you still have very many duties that could make it very difficult to be constantly thinking of Krishna and be in a state of samadhi.
So the point is how to get from the mechanical point where we're forcing it to happen, like just mechanically chanting and forcing, to the natural point. How to get from the mechanical to the natural? Do you know what the answer is?
Keep doing it.
Practice. You have to practice.
No, but
I mean, like now I've started some new hobbies, and now it's very mechanical, and I have to really think a lot about how to do the things. But then, I see people that have done these things for many, many years, and then it just happens automatically. It's just naturally. They don't even have to think. They don't even have to think about it. Just automatic. And like, brushing our teeth, we've done it so many times. You just automatically brush your teeth. You don't have to think about, oh, when am I going to brush my teeth? How am I going to brush my teeth? It just automatically happens. So like they say, practice makes perfect. So you keep this. So it begins off what's called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Vaidhi means rules and regulations. Vidhi, Vaidhi. So rules and regulations. Sadhana means practice. So you practice following rules and regulations, and what are you practicing? Your bhakti. So you devote your service to God. You're practicing according to the vidhi, the rules, Vaidhi, sadhana bhakti. And you keep doing that, keep practicing the rules, keep practicing, doing your bhakti. So you mechanically chanting and mechanically reading the Bhagavad Gita and hearing the classes and worshipping the deity and offering your bhoga and the prasadam and everything. And then you keep doing. What comes out of that Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is called Raganuga sadhana bhakti. Then means bhakti, your service for the Lord. But then, and sadhana means practicing your devotional service, but this time not according to the rules in the scriptures, but raganuga raga means attachment. You're attached to doing those services. You love it. And it means spontaneously doing. It means naturally, automatically you're doing. Like now, how do I get up? When the alarm goes off. But when you have raganuga, you will automatically get out of the bed. Automatically get out of the bed. And like that. And you'll automatically be running to see Krishna in the morning like that. And so it means that will come naturally just by repeatedly doing and doing and doing and doing. Then love comes out of that. And Prabhupada gives a very nice example that when a man and a woman first get married in Vedic culture, it's an arranged marriage, and traditionally. And so it means they don't even know each other before marriage. And then there's no obviously attachment to each other because they don't even know each other. And then slowly, if the man does his duties to his wife and the wife does the duties to the husband, slowly, then attachment develops. Slowly, attachment develops. And so that's happens even in our relationships. That in the beginning there wasn't much attachment, but slowly more attachment comes like that. So the same principle with all of these things. You just practice, and eventually, like that, it becomes more natural, like that, more spontaneous. However, I would say, along with that, part of that practice is to have association with devotees that have some raga. That is important.
Yeah,
Then you'll see that raga in them
and get
enthusiastic from their raga like that. If you just associate with only people that are all mechanical, then it's going to be hard to develop that. It still can get, but it'll take longer. But you can associate with people that have that raga. And also, like it's been emphasizing in this section, we have to be continually hearing about Krishna, the truth about Krishna, and that will develop our attraction like that. Hearing is so important, Shravan, 9 processes of bhakti. First one is most important, Shravanam, hearing. Like we know that, like one example, Rukmini, right? How did she get so attracted that she wanted to have Krishna as her husband? Well, she never even saw Krishna. I mean, you're talking about, have to see God, but she had never seen God. But how did she got to a point where she was praying that I don't care how many lifetimes it takes to get Krishna as my husband. I don't care. I'll just keep doing austerities to tapasya as many lifetimes until I can get Krishna as my husband. How did she get such a strong attraction to have Krishna as her husband? That came about just by hearing. When Narada Muni and other sages would come to her father, the king's palace, and they'd be glorifying Krishna's qualities and opulences and everything, how beautiful he is, how strong he is and everything, then she fell in love with Krishna just by hearing about him. So this is so important to be hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Krishna book, Krishna Lila, all these things that will awaken an attraction in our heart. It's said, there's a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karye Udoy. That's Bengali. What that means is Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, that love for Krishna is eternally present in the heart. It's eternally present in the heart of every living being, love of God. And it's not, you can't get it from any external source. It means you don't, I need to go to India to get love for Krishna. No, I need to go here and there into a temple or blah, blah, blah to get it. No, it's already in the heart. You're not getting it from outside. Love for Krishna is already in the heart. However, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Kare Udoy. Udoy means awaken or arisen. Just like when the sun rises in the morning on the eastern horizon, that's called Udoya. Udoya, the sun is risen above the horizon. So how do you get that love? It's in the heart, but how do you get it to rise up, to become awakened? Because now it's like a seed. It's just like dormant in the heart. But how do you get that seed to sprout? As you know, with a seed, you need water and some sunshine, and then the seed will just sprout. It will sit in the ground as long as until those conditions are met. It might sit there for years, but until it receives that water and the sunshine and so forth, and then it will sprout. So like that, the seed of love of God is dormant in our heart. But how to get it to awaken? That is Shravanadi. So it means this process of bhakti beginning with Shravana, hearing. So this is very important. If we want that real love for God to awaken in our heart, we need to hear from devotees, ideally, if they're on that spontaneous platform, that's going to be more helpful. If we hear from them about Krishna, then that love will just awaken in our hearts like that. And in the meantime, we just, whatever, even mechanically, go about these same things. No problem. But even mechanically, this process is so powerful because the name Krishna is God, is Krishna. So whether you say it mechanically or with love or whatever way you do it, but it's very powerful. Prasadam, the food offered to Krishna, it is Krishna. Whether you eat it without knowledge or with knowledge, without faith, with faith, actually it's said that there are, trying to remember, it's 4 or 5. It'll come to me in a minute. There's 4 or 5 of processes in bhakti. There's 64 items mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion. So it's said that the last, yeah, I'll see. It'll come. It's either 4 or 5. Are so powerful that even without faith in them, then one will automatically develop love of God. So one is chanting the holy name. One is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. One is worshipping the deity. One is residing in a holy place, and so it's 5. And the other is associating with devotees. So said these 5 processes are the most powerful of all the processes, and even a little bit of contact with them. Duruhadbhuta Varyasmin Shradadures to Panchake. Even a little bit of contact with these 5 can bring one all success, all perfection. So yeah, you don't have to worry that, oh, I don't have any real love for Krishna, I'm just mechanical or whatever. No, you just keep doing the processes, and practice makes perfect. But then within that, if you can try to find association of nice devotees and hear from them, then this is very effective, very effective.
Interestingly, in those 5, prasadam is not there.
Yeah, but I mean, in the association of devotees, you will be having prasadam and everything. That's part of that. But yeah, those processes are very important. And part of deity worship is you're offering food and you're eating that food. So that's part of the deity worship also. And you're living in a holy place, they're going to be distributing a lot of prasadam. So I mean, prasadam's sort of mixed in with those processes.
But the main point in that is, even if you don't have faith in those processes, it will still work.
It still work. An example given too, even if you take some medicine, whether you know what the medicine is or you don't know what the medicine is, it will work on you, isn't it? If you know that it's got this chemical or that thing in it, or even you don't know what it is, even like often the parents, right, to get a little child to take the medicine, you have to trick the child. You say, the child will say, oh, is that medicine? I don't want to eat that. No, you say, no, it's just a lolly. It's just a lolly. But actually it's not a lolly, it's medicine. But you trick them and you say it's a lolly, and then that gets them to eat it. So even they don't know that it's medicine, but still it will work. So the process of bhakti is like that. You know, it's not depending on your knowledge. However, you know, for the real love to develop, then that knowledge has to be awakened. But in the beginning, even you're starting without knowledge, you can start, and then slowly, that knowledge will awaken, and then your love will awaken like that. Okay, we'll come up here. So even an ignorant person can do these 5 different things, processes, and then slowly their love for Krishna will awaken. And we know examples, even very wicked, vicious people that started this process. Like one good example is Valmiki. He compiled the Ramayana eventually, but originally he was a very merciless hunter, and he was killing the animals. And Narada Muni, he had contact with Narada Muni, the great devotee, and Narada tricked him into saying the name Rama. In the beginning, he wouldn't even say the name Rama. He said, I can't say that. So Narada tricked him by saying, you say Mara. So Mara means death. Mara means death. So yeah, he happily said, yeah, I can say that. So he said, Mara, 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 Mara. So he tricked him into saying Ram. Mara, Rama. So it became Rama. So like that. And then after a long period of time, eventually he developed, perfect self-realization and God realization, in this case, Lord Rama. He never actually physically was with Rama, but he had so much purity in his heart that, like it mentioned in that 620 verse, 620, that he had through transcendental senses, he could see all the Ram Leela. So even he wasn't present when the Ram Leela took place. He was not present when the Ram Leela took place, but he wrote all the Ram Leela without actually being there. How's that possible? Because he could see everything just through his transcendental senses, like that.
But then he gave shelter to Sita after.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's about our time for the day. But yeah, this is very important topics, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, don't worry about that, where it says, oh, we worship Krishna with all our hearts. And we might think, well, I'm not really putting my heart into the worship. I'm sort of doing it just because I have to as a matter of duty. But don't worry about that. That's how it begins for all of us. All of us start as a matter of duty, but then slowly, like I said, in the relationship between husband and wife, slowly that duty turns into love over time. And you don't even notice it, the change taking place, but it happens very subtly, very slowly, like that. And we definitely know that there is some love in our bhakti. How do we know? How can we tell?
Because we are here. We're sitting and talking about Krishna.
Well, yeah, we're sitting and talking about Krishna now. I mean, you could be watching the cricket or rugby on TV or Bollywood movie, or go out to watch a movie or something like that, or go for a walk on the beach and go for a swim. But you've sacrificed your valuable time, which you could have been making money or enjoying a hobby or something. You sacrificed that to be hearing about Krishna. So that's a sign there must be some love. I mean, no one's got a gun to our head forcing us to do it. No one's paying us to do it. Is anyone paying us to talk? Is anyone paying us to listen? So we're doing it voluntarily. No one's forcing us like that. So definitely there is something there. There's some faith there. It might be a small amount, but there's some faith there. And the full development of faith is love. So the faith means Shraddha and love is Prema. But the Prema is just a full development of that Shraddha, that faith, that all my desires can be completely fulfilled and my life can become perfect just by serving Krishna. When we have that conviction that just by serving Krishna, all of our desires will be perfect and complete, that is called Shraddha. So that's called Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Sudrida Nishchoy Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sava, Sava Karma Krita Hoy. Then yeah, we don't have to do anything else. Sava Karma Krita Hoy means that just by doing this one activity of developing our love and faith in Krishna, then all of our desires will be fulfilled. We don't have to do any other action. By this one action of serving Krishna, all actions are fully completed by that. Yeah, so it will gradually come. But if there's some love there, but it will fully blossom after some more practice like that. Deepa, do you want to say anything?
No, not particularly, no.
Okay.
I guess when you said how do we know that there is some love, and what come to me was that it's when you are like, for me, it's that I look forward to the
Yeah.
opportunities to do what we are doing, like, that
Nice.
association or
Yeah.
the activity or and that
Yeah.
that it's somehow there in my consciousness that, like, for instance, this session, and that, that it's at 3 o'clock, and then suddenly I jumped up. I said, shit, 2:45, and I quickly ran, and
Yeah.
it's there. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
those sorts of things, yeah, that I look forward to it, and that there is some feeling that, that
Another synonymous word to prema or love is rati. Rati means attraction. So yeah, if there's some attraction to, to seeing the deity or going to Mangalarti or hearing a class or joining in a kirtan or even going to Mayapur or whatever, whatever it may be, that attraction for any of those things, that's love. That's love. You're attracted to something that you have some love for, Another synonym for love or connected with love is attachment. If you have attachment, so attraction and also attachment, these are all things that come with what we call as love. Along with love comes attraction, attachment, like that. These are all coming together. So if you're starting to feel some attraction or attachment for any of these things, kirtan and talking and meeting devotees like that, looking forward. I know a lot of people had attachment to Friday night at the Bhakti Tree.
Oh,
That was
totally.
a
I
lot of
still
people.
do.
I was thinking about that actually.
Yeah. That was
you
very
I
special.
think we all loved it,
Yeah, but that was, people loved it. They
We
loved
all
it.
look
That
forward to
was
seeing each other.
Yeah, look forward to seeing each other and
Yeah.
everything.
that.
Even that elderly lady that died in there, she
Young
said that was,
Oh,
Yamuna said, she said that the Friday was my favorite night of the week. And I
yes.
was always thinking about when I will go to the Bhakti Tree. And then Krishna fulfilled her desire and she left this world
Even
in the Bhakti
Maureen.
Tree on the Friday night.
Maureen.
Maureen, yeah. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. So they're all
Actually,
so fortunate.
you mentioned it was fun in the beginning. You said this good Kirtanya Vayasaki Dasa.
Yes, yes.
Guess who? I'm learning online from him.
Oh, really?
I'm
Oh,
following
good.
his classes,
Yeah,
his
yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
I know. He does teach online. Yeah, well, that's
Yes,
great.
yes, yes. Vayasaki Dasa. When you said the
Yeah,
name, I said, "Hey, I know that name." And I
you
looked
know
the
that name,
book.
yeah.
I
Oh, that was good.
wrote the name on the book that I'm,
Yes,
taking notes. So,
good.
and I said, "Ha."
Ah, you're in the parampara. You're in the disciplic session for kirtan. That's good. You
So
have a bona fide
learned
teacher.
just following his lessons, and so that there are a few. I think there's about three and a half or so tunes that I can play and sing. I mean, of course, not as at all like you all, but in my beginner
Oh, that's
stage,
great. Yeah, no, Krishna
it's
will be so
working.
happy.
It's
Practice,
working.
practice makes perfect, you see.
Yes.
Soon be singing without.
Yeah, when you come here in April, then we can have a sing along together.
I'll
Yeah,
bring
you
my
can.
book, because I write the notes.
Yeah,
Sometimes he doesn't, I
yeah,
mean, the tune, and
yeah.
then because he's teaching like the scales or the
Mm,
and And then he said, and then, from there, so we can do this tune, which is Prabhupada's favorite. And